Hello guys, welcome to History Burst presents America, Expansion and Consolidation 1840 to 95. The Great American Desert, also known as the Great Plains. Alright, so Great Plains, pretty much in the middle of what is now the USA, and its initial impression from white settlers is that it is uninhabitable. Think of a desert. Yeah, life struggles to thrive. It can thrive, but it really struggles, and human life particularly struggled. All right, the weather is inhospitable, and it is almost impossible for white European descendants to live as they would expect to live, predominantly as farmers, to support themselves and their families on this land. All right. Key ideas about the Great Plains. It's bracketed by mountains. It experiences extremes of weathers, heavy snowfall in the winter, scorching heat and dry winds in the summer. And there is little timber, wood. So there's a lack of building materials, burning materials for heat that white settlers would have been used to previously upon entering the plains. Hence the nickname, Great American Desert. It is desert-like. The generic attitude, generally accepted, kind of evolves just before our topic starts in 1840. Major Long in 1819 is sent by the government to go and explore the lands that are west of this massive Mississippi River. And upon his research, he publishes his findings in a report and a map that leads to this moniker, the Great American Desert. Great, not because it's good, but great because it's huge, it's vast, it's desolate, and it's desert-like. Very little life thrives. And as it says in his quote, this region is almost wholly unfit for cultivation, i.e. struggle to grow anything food-wise, and farmers cannot hope to live on this land, i.e. live a long, successful life. Occasionally there are large areas of fertile land, so it's good for planting. Fertile is good quality soil, but the shortage of wood and water will mean settling the country is impossible. And so what you have is this general direction is that the plains at this point in time is going to be a place that settlers are encouraged to pass through, to travel across to get to the West Coast in California and Oregon, and to put up with the Great American Desert to get to where they want to be, not to actually stay and settle and live out their lives. And this comes from the government. They direct them to, get through, get over, endure the plains, not thrive upon it, because they believe it's not possible to make it successful as a life on the plains. And you've got there a list of various conditions. I've mentioned a few already, but I'll give you a moment. You can have a little look through, maybe pick out some keywords for that detail about why the government is encouraging people not to stay on the plains. They're encouraging them to cross through. Another driving force that's going to encourage people to move from the east to the west across those great American desert plains is that manifest destiny. You should recognise the source with this idea of America represented by that woman that possesses knowledge, that brings progress. And this phrase, manifest destiny, is used repeatedly to encourage and push people from the east looking for a better life west. And if you look closely, you can see elements in that reflected. You've got America represented by the woman carrying a book showing knowledge. She's carrying the cable, and behind her you can see the developing telegraph system of communication. You've got the trains, so again you've got technology, you've got transportation. You've also got the painting layers of light and dark. Yeah, she brings knowledge, enlightenment, driving away in front of her the darkness, the lack of knowledge, the primitive way that the Indians live. And you can see that they are looking back in fear of the unknown, of what she's bringing. And the white American is encroaching on land. You've got the gold miners who've got their spades, you've got the farmers, you've got the wagon trains that reflect this idea of pushing west in order to fulfill American manifest destiny, yeah, which is that God-given right that God says Americans must move west. They must fill up America. They must make use of the land that God has provided. And it has huge importance throughout the whole topic, encouraging people to move, and is a source of the tension that does escalate between Americans and Native Indians, in the fact that there's a clash of ideas of what to do with the land. Yeah, Americans want to make use of it, profit from it, own it, whereas the Indians, they are nurturers, they are caretakers, they cannot own the land, they're protecting it for the future generations. So you see this real disparity between the view of the land. And this idea is truly important. White Americans now viewed the land as being something less than worthless. The land they didn't want, the plains that they saw as unfit for, man to use. The Indians can have that land, but the good land where the gold is and where water is and where nature thrives and man can thrive, initially in California and Oregon. The Americans become more and more comfortable with the idea of pushing the Indians off that land because it's God's will. God tells them to. And they fulfill that religious belief, but they also fulfill the financial and the monetary gain of those new resources such as gold, silver, boosting the American economy, the Indians being forced to make way for American progress, which causes conflict and becomes this major factor in the filling up, particularly of the West Coast, as the East becomes more and more overcrowded and overpopulated. And politically, America increases in size as more territories join the Union, having been settled by white Americans and claiming the land in the name of God and fulfilling their manifest destiny.